Hello, friends. Again, I'm today before you with the model answer of the yesterday's case study. So we'll first take up the model answer of the case study, and then we will take up another question, one question from theoretical ethics, which we will be answering tomorrow. So now let us see what was the case study and how we can give a model answer based on various ethical theories. Now, as given yesterday the case study is like this. A sting video showing a bureaucrat taking bribes goes viral. It's a deep fake. As ethics officer, how do you conduct a fair inquiry without prejudicing public trust? So this is basically the case study given in brief. I mean, this can be described in one or two paragraphs also, but this is the thrust of the case study. So now what should be done? So now let us try to understand what are the ethical issues involved, then what steps can be taken and how those steps are justified by various ethical theories, and then what can be the conclusion. So let us try to understand that. Now we'll go to directly to ethical issues involved. Uh, See, first is authenticity versus perception in digital evidence. But so one more thing I just want to tell before I go to ethical issues involved. This is a case study which is also, having flavor of current affairs, because nowadays I told yesterday also nowadays in social media, in various media platforms, deep fake videos are quite common and being circulated. So this kind of scenario may occur with bureaucrats, this here the example is taking bribe, but it may happen by some other different videos also, which are basically a crime, basically. So now let us see what is the, so why I am telling this, because some of the case studies in recent years have been influenced by current affairs. So this is one such case study. So now let us see what are the ethical issues involved, and then try to list out what steps should be taken. So first is authenticity versus perception in digital evidence. Then second is reputation and natural justice versus trial by media. This keeps on happening actually. So this is again an important concept, because principle of natural justice you might be already knowing. Is very important. Due process has to be followed, and the opportunity should be given to defend. So all those things come in natural principle of natural justice. So here reputation and natural justice versus trial by media is another issue involved, where media ethics is also involved. Then the next is public trust versus institutional overreaction. This is again another issue. Then AI manipulation and regulatory gaps, because these kind of things do happen, and we can identify what are the regulatory gaps, and then accordingly we can suggest also for tightening the regulatory gaps. So what are the steps or course of ethical action which a bureaucrat or which a civil servant or the officer concerned can take up? First is forensic verification and transparency. See, if any complaint has come that some person is taking bribe and this is video, immediately forensic verification and transparency should be maintained. So initiate a digital forensic audit by CERTIN. Now, what is a CERTIN accredited lab? What is CERTIN? CERTIN is basically Indian Computer Emergency Response Team. It is created by Government of India, of course, by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. So they basically accredit certain labs. So what is suggested here? Conduct a digital forensic audit by a certain accredited lab, so that authenticity can be established, and then publicly communicate the inquiry is evidence based, not perception driven. So this is very important, because evidence is there against some officer, action needs to be taken. But if evidence is not there and only some perception is there, you cannot take action. So this is first step. Second step is ensure procedural fairness. Article 311 and also principle of natural justice, one of the ordi alteram partem, one of the principles of natural justice, that basically you have to give the opportunity to defend to the complainant. Any departmental proceeding must wait for verified facts. Reputation, because important, reputation once lost is hard to restore. So this has to be taken. Now third is public communication strategy. See, whatever you do, not only in this case but in other case studies also, whatever you do has to be in a transparent manner. Because see, trust is very, very important. If people or public loses trust in you, then whatever inquiry you do, they will not believe that. So communication strategy has to be very, very factual, very, very transparent, and you should not be appear defending some corrupt officer or some person who has done something wrong. So release a factual, non-defensive statement. Non-defensive means your statement should not appear that you are defending that fellow. Explaining the nature of deepfake and the inquiry process. Suppressing information creates more mistrust. Proactive transparency is the key. So this is very important. In many case studies, you will have to use this. What is the next step? Safeguards against technological misuse. So recommend institutional SOPs for verifying digital evidence in vigilance cases. Include mandatory AI forensics and ethical review prior to disciplinary action. So this is basically SOP has to be formulated for any such misuse because so many videos may come, so many sound modulations may come. So this kind of safeguard can be prescribed. And then long-term reforms has to be also suggested. Propose a code of digital ethics for civil services, covering disinformation, digital harassment, and deepfake resilience training. Push for legislative reforms to address synthetic media crimes under Information Technology Act. So basically, you can, depending on whatever level you are working, you can suggest to state government, you can suggest to central government, you can suggest to your bosses that this kind of long-term reforms is required. So basically, you are dealing with the current that problem in a way, but then for future problems also you are taking some steps. So your vision is futuristic, basically. That also needs to be shown. Now, next is ethical. What are the ethical frameworks which have been applied? Let us try to understand that. First is Kantian ethics. Anyway, it's very important. Uphold individual dignity regardless of popular sentiment. So this is one of the main principles of the Kant. One is duty-based ethics. Another is individual should be treated as an end, not as a means. So uphold individual dignity regardless of popular sentiment. This is one of the Kantian principles, and that we are going on. Then John Rawls, fairness. Balance between justice for the accused and fairness to public. So this is again a very important thing. You have to be fair to the complainant also. You cannot simply be biased because some media is talking or some, so that also is important. Then Nolan principle. Integrity, objectivity, and accountability should also be ensured. So that is also very important. Then next is second ARC. Second ARC emphasized institutional mechanisms against reputational harm. So this is again as recommended by second ARC, Ethics in Governance report. And what can be the conclusion? In an age where truth can be synthetically manufactured, ethical governance must anchor itself in due process, technological awareness, and transparent communication. So these three are key points here. Due process has to be followed, technological awareness has to be there, and transparent communication has to be there that will ensure that there is a trust in the authority of the government or the concerned officer. Balancing institutional integrity with individual justice is not optional. It is very hallmark of ethical public service. So here you are not only, basically supporting or giving individual justice, but also you are ensuring that your integrity of the institution is also protected. So basically there has to be a balance. So basically this completes the about 250 words answer for model answer for the case study. Now let us see what question we will be taking up tomorrow. Now the question will be like this. Tolerance and compassion are not just personal virtues, but public obligations in civil services. This is a statement. Examine with reference to the role of a civil servant in handling communal violence, refugee crisis, or caste-based conflicts. So this, I will again read the question once again. Tolerance and compassion are not just personal virtues, but public obligations in civil services. Examine this statement with reference to the role of a civil servant in handling communal violence, refugee crisis, and caste-based conflicts. So now this question we will be taking up tomorrow, and we will be giving the model answer tomorrow. Thanks a lot for watching today's video. We will meet again tomorrow with the model answer for this question. Tomorrow again, we will take up another case study, which will be giving the model answer day after tomorrow. So this sequence will keep on, doing that, continue up to October end. And as I earlier also announced, earlier videos, about 100 important case studies of diverse nature and about 100 probable questions of covering almost all the topics we'll be taking up. So I hope that these videos will be quite useful to all of you. And however, if you have any suggestion, you can suggest me in the comments. I will definitely take up those things. So thank you for watching today's video. We'll meet again tomorrow. Thank you, one and all. Thank you.